Welcome to Obsidian Tutorials.com. Let's learn how to use the tool. Alright, g'day guys, and welcome back today to another Obsidian video. Everywhere I go now on the socials, we still see a very common question come up is, what do you guys use for your notes and what do you use for your campaign manager? And my obvious answer is always Obsidian.md. Something that I'm seeing specifically in the last 6 months though, is it's no longer just me. Alright, there are so many people using this tool. Alright, they're picking it up and they're using it to manage their TTRPG campaigns. And I think the reasons for that is clear. Alright, as a free tool, Obsidian.md is marvelous for TTRPG management. Alright, but every time I do see people recommending it, there's always some people going, it's just too complex. I'm not a coder. Alright, I don't know how to code. I can't figure out my way around this program because I don't know how to code. And I always scratch my head and wonder, like, what is it that you're seeing and what is it that you're watching that makes you think that you need to know how to be a computer programmer in order to use this application? All right, because Obsidian.md is at the ground level just a very basic Markdown editor. All right, and Markdown is not coding. Okay, I want to be very clear with that. It is not coding. Markdown is just a syntax format that's used. It's actually used as a way to write notes very efficiently. All right, and anyone who comes from from Microsoft Word or from OneNote or maybe even Google Drive, you're used to being able to like go to a character or a word and make it bold, or highlight a section of text and right click and change the colors, and that's great. All right. We've all grown up on that, and I got to admit, when I came over to Markdown initially, it was like, oh, this is different. But conceptually, Markdown has tried to go faster than that. All right. So instead of going to a chapter and going, I want to make you bold and blue and make a call out box around it, you just say, I want this to be a call out. And it will format it in a way that says this is a call out and make it look the same. And all your call outs across your notes will all look the same. Your headings, you just put a hashtag in front of it and all your headings will look the same. All right. Markdown is basically repetitious in what it does, in basically applying a formatting over your notes. All right, so it's not coding, there's some syntax that's required. And today's video, I just wanted to jump in and show you, what it is about Obsidian that is just Markdown, how quick and easy it is to use. And then kind of talk about the complexity that some people in the Obsidian community are going to, right? And whether or not you need to go into that level of complexity yourself. So let's jump in and have a look. All right, so let's start with Markdown and whether or not you need to know coding to use Obsidian, okay? If we have a look at my note here, it's formatted quite nicely, I would like to think. Go into reading mode, we can see it's got a heading, it's got some text, we've got some bold, we've got some linking, I've got some images, all right, some call out boxes. We might even come over to this one. We've got a banner, some images on the left, some images on the right. All right, this is a call out box. We've got a tag, and we've got some encounter blocks, and there's some maps down here somewhere as well, I think. Got a map over here. All right. Now that's just a basic note, all right, with some elements inside of it that make it look pretty and make it stand out so it's easy to read. And right, when I see people going, oh, you've got to learn how to code to use Obsidian, right? Let's just jump in and explore that a little bit. If we go into source mode, this is just text. Okay, that's just text, like just written, all right, and it just formats it in a way that says it's just text. We've got an underscore here. All right, that makes this word italics. If we have a look down here, we've got bold, all right, and we've got some stars that make that bold. Now, I don't have to learn how to do that, by the way. That whole concept of having to actually have words that are bolded, right? You don't have to learn to go star to make a bolded word. All right, you can, and there are people out there that only work like that because they just work on the keyboard. And one of the real benefits of Markdown is it actually lets you work really fast on the keyboard. So you could go, I'm doing Control Shift right, Control B, right, we'll add that and turn it bold. All right, or you could basically double click on it and press Control B, all right, and that will make it bold as well. So that's not coding, right? That's just a simple syntax that Markdown offers to do basic formatting options on your notes. Okay, so a bold, I just press Control B, but you can do star star. And italics, you can actually go 1 star. All right, or it even supports the underscore method as well. Okay, so that's not coding, that's just basic syntax, and that is basic Markdown. Now, Markdown also supports these call-out boxes, which are a fantastic way to actually have your notes come and pop out for you, so they're easy to read. If we go into source mode here, we can see that there's these little greater than symbols at the start. There's a little bit of syntax here, so a square bracket, explanation, name, end square bracket with a plus. All right, and I'm going to be honest, guys, I will never remember how to write that natively. My brain just does not work that way, so you don't need to learn how to do that. All right, what you can do, I'm now in live preview mode, all right, which lets me edit while I can see what's going on. And what I can do here is right click, insert, call out. All right, new call out, read aloud, read me. All right, as you can see, I'm not editing the syntax that's required to install this thing. All right, I'm not. Now, when I'm like this, I can also right click and change the type. All right, we can change the colors. We can change the icons. All right, and as you can see, very easy to add, very easy to delete too. So that's how you do a call out. All right, again, there's no coding required for that, guys. That is just simple syntax. And now that there's a right click menu, it's easier than ever. You can also right click and go insert table. All right, in the table. There we go. Title 1. Title 2, content 1, content 2. And we can just go plus, 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 plus to build our tables. Now, if we go into source mode and we have a look at what that looks like, there is syntax required to make a table, as you can see, but we've got a UI to do it for us now. So you don't really have to learn anything, right? That's really easy to use. So yeah, I don't even use source mode for tables these days. I just do this. We're going to just delete that. All right, what else have we got? We got images. If we go into source mode, we'll have a look at an image. We can see here that we've got a exclamation mark, a square bracket, and then the image name and extension, and then it's closed out with a square bracket, square bracket. I've got a little bit of syntax on the right here. These are added by a third-party CSS file that comes with my theme. All right, so one is making it go to the left, and the 200 is basically resizing it. And again, that's pretty easy. But if I wanted to add an image to my notes, right? Let's just say I'm just going to grab just a random image here. I'm just going to Google, right-click, copying the image. And then what I'm going to do is just going to come in here and I'm going to paste it, right, with a Control V. That's it. All right, you don't need to learn any coding or any really significant syntax there to make a picture work. You can just literally just paste it into your notes. If you get rid of the exclamation mark, it becomes a link to that picture. All right, just like I can come in here using the ITS plugin and put in a right. Actually, we need to put the exclamation mark back in. And we'll go back into reading mode, and now it's on the right. All right, so as you can see, very, very simple to add some of these basic elements of a note in. And I think the conversation I wanted to have with you is like, what is Obsidian for? Like, what are you using it for at your games? Because I do see people who come in here and they're like, I want Obsidian to do everything. And there's people doing some absolutely crazy things. Like I've seen character sheets. There was a dude who made triangle tabs. That blew my mind. Yeah, just trackers for everything. Random tables. Like you can do these things, but ultimately, when you're at your game and at your table, what is it you need to run your game? Right, is the point I'm trying to get to. And there's layers of complexity that you can add with Obsidian. Right, you can go deep down this rabbit hole, and you can go very, very deep. As a prime example, Here's Dave's character sheet, which is a little bit broken right now. Dave's going to be screaming at me just for showing you in such a broken state. Obsidian changed the way some tables worked, which has broken this character sheet a little bit. But you can see here we've got checkboxes. Oh, I'm just going to go into reading view. All right, we've got checkboxes. We've got import fields. All right. Checkboxes, all sorts of stuff going on. Drop-down boxes that changes everything. We've got sliders. Oh, does not like whatever I did. Oh, I was holding the space key. Yeah. It's one of those days. Alright, so we've got sliders. Alright. We've got drop downs with inventory, with links and stuff, right? Like you can do this level of stuff here, guys, but if we go into edit mode on this note, you can see that this is coding. Alright. I mean, it's not pure coding. Well, there is. There's a little bit of not markdown, but a little bit of what we call meta bind going on here, so it's like its own language, and then there's a bit of JavaScript usually happening as well. If you're seeing this and you're running to the hills, I completely understand it. All right, you do not need to learn how to do any of this. All right, you do not need to use any of this in your notes. All right. And if you're getting to a point where you are learning to do this and you're wanting this, right, that's a personal decision for you to make, okay? I would challenge that the time spent making a functional character sheet in a tool like this, I would just be easier to go to D&D Beyond, pay the $25 or whatever it is for the content that I'm using, and then just use that, all right, instead of building my own solution. But I think there's a positive benefit here that Obsidian does allow you to do this, right? Like, if you want to go to the depths, all right, of complexity and build your own stuff, you absolutely can. There's a guy at the moment, actually, he's just, he's added in health bars to images, which is cool, because now you can actually see a visual representation of how much health the party has in the actual image sheet. And I think that is really cool. I do think it's something that I wouldn't use, if I'm completely honest. Here we go. Let's see if I can get this. Yeah, I'll bring this over here. Have a look at this. All right, we've got health bars. We've got buttons that reset the health, that track the health. All right, we've got statuses. All right, so you can do this stuff, all right? But the point I'm making is that if you're new to Obsidian and you are not a coder and you don't want to be a coder, you don't need to worry about that stuff, right? Because majority of what you're going to be doing is writing information about your campaign, presenting it in a way that's easy for you to read, right? So that you can then deliver that to the table, right? And for that, Markdown out of the box does not require coding and is really simple and quick and easy to use. All right, you could learn how to do majority of what I'm showing here in probably a night at the most. But what about the plugins, I hear you say? I have to learn to code to use the plugins, all right? Because the plugins are generally all doing something customized and fancy in some sort of way that requires some sort of method to use that plugin. And there might be people coming along going, oh, it was just too hard. There's too many plugins and I don't want to learn how to use them all. So let's just show you how I use most plugins at my table. All right, if I come back to my 5e Vault, can we go back here? I gotta come to here. We'll go to the module that I was recently running. Here's a great example of where I'm actually using a plugin that is definitely a bit more complex. So this is Data View. All right, Data View, what that does is it dynamically creates lists or tables of notes effectively that exist in my vault. So here, what this is doing is it's actually scanning this note. All right, it's scanning the note and it's looking for references of monsters. All right, and you can see the monsters have these little icons in front of them. That's a plugin that I've got going on as well. And what it's doing is it's basically listing all of those that are listed here in this note. And I love this functionality, guys, right? Because this is my get my minis off the shelf list at the start of my session, right? I know I'm going to run this chapter. I just look up here and go, all right, I need some elementals, I need some cultists, I need some mages, and I go to my shelves and I get my minis down. All right, so I love that. I've also got one here for magic items, which is, again, it's just looking here, it's finding the ones that are linked, and it's bringing them in. Now, this is a bit more complex, right? If we go into edit mode, you can see that this is the query. All right, there's a data view query here. This is a code block saying it's using the data view plugin. It's making a table, and it's basically creating the file names as links, and it's looking for specific files where they contain a source type property equals magic item. Just like here, this one is looking for one that says bestiary. All right. Now, I don't know how to do this. All right. To the people saying, oh, I can't use Obsidian because I need to learn how to code. I don't know how to do this. All right. I've never gone out of my way to remember that syntax, and I never will. All right. That's a complete waste of time. What I do, though, is I find examples of people who have done what I want to do. All right, and that's what this was. Someone on one of the Discords provided some code that said, I want to display a table of all the links inside of my current node. And I said, haha, that would be useful for monsters. And then I took that code, I modified it a little bit, basically just by updating the filters to work with my notes. So it only showed monsters or magic items. And then I saved that in a template. So now I just press Alt-T, okay? All right, and I've got these basically little templates, all right, that basically turn around and say, well, this is the thing that happens inside of here. So if I want to put in my monster notes one, for example, I just click that, and this one's actually cool because it lets me go orc or goblin in my notes. No, it didn't have any queries. All right, so it's basically allows me to provide a list of different monsters. Oh, there we go. So here's all the orcs. I think it is. Oh no, it's picked up ORC. So it's a way of me displaying a list of monsters, and what I use that one for is like, oh, I want to create an encounter. Show me all the orcs that I have available. Show me all the goblins that I have available. All right, and then I use that to build my encounters. All right, it makes it more interesting because instead of just using a goblin every single time, I get to make it a little bit more fancy. All right, I haven't remembered how to do that though. All right, you don't need to be a coder to change the monster's name from orc to goblin. And literally, if I ever find myself wanting to create a new data view query, well, I don't actually do that either. And what I actually do, and I recommend this for all my new users, is come along to obsidianttrpgtutorials.com, click this link up the top here, Obsidian TTRPG Community Discord. That will bring you over to our community Discord, all right, where there's absolutely thousands of us learning how to use this tool. And you come along here to beginner chat or vault chat. All right, you can see I've actually typed in data view. So if I come here to beginner chat, I can type exclamation data view, and it comes up with this little help text that says, hey, data view is useful. Here's the documentation. But more importantly, here's the query builder wizard. All right, we can click that. All right, brings up a little wizard, and we can then go through and we can say, I want to have a list of notes or a table. All right. We'll just go to list just to start off simple. I only want to show notes that have a particular tag. So we're going to show the NPC tag. All right. And as you can see, you can really, really easily build these things. And then all you do is you copy it and paste it back into your notes and you get a data view query. All right. You don't need to learn how to code to do that. All right, and if you ever got a complex requirement, you can always come along to our community Discord, all right, and you can ask questions where there are coders who might be able to help you out if you do have a more customized requirement that's a bit more complex. If we scroll down though, we'll go back to the Pathfinder Vault, just because it's not Dark View. Dark View is evil, right? We've got encounters, all right, so this is the encounter builder plugin, or initiative tracker plugin, sorry. And if we have a look here, again, we've got some syntax. I don't remember how to do that either, guys. Shock horror. Alt-T. I type encounter. insert encounter. All right, and I can now change the names of things. So now we've got 6 orcs. All right, but I don't remember how to do that. I have a template. And again, the template comes from the plugin documentation. If we go down, if we got some images or maps here somewhere. I think I did have a map somewhere. Here's a map. All right, this is using the leaflet plugin. Again, I have a template that adds this in. I change the map name. All right, and then I come in here and I change some details like what the zoom levels are, or I might set the definition of the bounds so that, you know, I set the dimensions of the image so that it knows how big the image is. There's nothing complex about that. All right, and once you've done it 1 or 2 times, it's quite an easy process that you can just basically replicate. Because I can create templates out of these little syntax blocks, right, it means that I don't have to remember how to do any of it. It's just, I'm like, Alt-T, put in a map, change the map dimensions. Yep, we're done. We're good. We're moving on. Things like links. You'll see here, there's some links. All right. I've actually, like, check this out, right? I've got it set up so I can just type and put in, here's a link to an orc. Now I have a link to an orc. Right, like, no coding required. As you can see, there's not a lot going on here. Here's a title, right? If I want to do a new title, I just do a hashtag new title. That's not hard. If I want to change the size of the title, I just put more hashes. All right. Just changes the way things look, changes the way they act. So that's, again, no coding required. Very, very simple. So yeah, if you're looking for a campaign manager and you're looking for something that is simple to get started with, like Obsidian is that tool, guys. It is very, very easy to use at the base level. All right, you can dive deeper. All right, and if you come along to the Obsidian TTRPG community Discord, you will see people diving deeper. All right, but that's why we've got beginner chats. That's for new starters to come in and say, hey, I've got a question, or ask a question. This is a chat experience, right? People just keep talking. This is more like a forum board. You can create a post and say, I need help with something, we'll answer it. Vault chat is literally for people talking about their vaults. All right, an Obsidian Vault is what we call our campaign, I guess you would say. So Vault chat. But advanced chat. Stay out of advanced chat, guys, unless you are ready to dive into the depths of advanced stuff. We'll put it in the corner so that you guys don't have to see that it's there. All right, because there are people playing with some really advanced stuff. Dave is famous for trying to bring in people to here. All right, he's a fantastic community member, but he likes to play with the JavaScript. All right, I'm here to tell you, you do not need the JavaScript in order to get the best out of this tool. All right, the people who are pushing this tool deeper and deeper into JavaScript, I think they're tinkerers. They like to play. All right, they like to take on a challenge and prove that something can be done. All right, so it's not necessarily useful, I think, right at the end. I see some people do some fantastic complex stuff. I don't see a lot of people using that stuff constantly in their games yet. All right, we're still tinkering, we're still building, we're still making it work. I haven't quite got it working yet, but I'm still playing with it, right? Like that's just something they enjoy doing. It's a hobby for them. I'm sure there are people using it in their games as well, but you know, I don't see that as much. So yeah, anyway, look, if you are looking for tools, Obsidian is great. There are people out there who are trying to scare people off of using Obsidian. There's another TTRPG tool that I won't name that made an article that famously called out Obsidian for its complexity. And they're like, oh, it's going to take you weeks or months to learn how to use this tool. And he specifically called out Obsidian Leaflet. And it's like, oh, you've got to learn how to use GeoJSON. And like, yeah, I just don't have time to do that. Sorry, mate. I have met one person so far who has explored GeoJSON. I think it was Anamaya, who makes the absolutely fantastic Greyhawk maps. You may have heard of her or seen around. She uses Obsidian.md as well. And she maps in GeoJSON, so she's like an experienced cartographer, right? And she was using that data. She's the only person I think I've ever met who's ever explored GeoJSON. Everyone else just posts in an image, changes the dimensions, and starts adding their pins. How easy is that? Okay. The same guy actually, he called us, oh, you need heaps of plugins. Check out how quickly you can get the plugins, right? This will be a bit of an advertisement for my own thing, right? But ObsidianTTRPGtutorials.com. Come along to here. Come down here to the starter vault. All right. My Patreon's like $2.50 a month or something. It's ridiculously low amount of money, okay? And gets you access to download it. And you literally download the zip file, export it out, create a new vault on top of it, and it comes with the folder layout, with the plugins, with the settings, with the theme, right? You can be up and running in 10 minutes, starting to add your own notes. Now, do I recommend that? Actually, no, I don't. I recommend that you do learn how to use the parts, but for those of you who like to learn by seeing how something is done, the starter vault is a really good way. All right, you could be creating your notes very efficiently, very quickly, without having to learn absolutely bugger all. All right, and that's the benefit of Obsidian. You can take it a lot further. You can go down that depth of hole, like you just go all the way down the rabbit hole and go, I'm gonna have random tables that automatically generate AI images that fill in 3 pages worth of details and have an interrelationship with my other notes. Like, it is possible, but do you need it? Okay. One of the things I commonly say to people is whenever you're making notes, think about what you need when you're at the table to run your session. All right. What is going to make your life easier to deliver that information to your party? Because ultimately that's your job as the DM, right? Is you are there to deliver information to them and they react to that information. So whenever you're making your notes, however you make them clearer, more concise for yourself will ultimately benefit the party. I think that's a good thing. All right. If you're making something that requires you to stop and think, is that working, or do I need to go into the code to check to see if that's working? Like, I think you've gone too far. All right. Ultimately, we're here to have a combined conversation, really. Like we're combined storytelling, right? And you don't need to go and code different things in order to learn how that works. You certainly don't need to be a coder to learn how to use Obsidian.md. Okay. Great tool. Fantastic. Just quickly, why I use it. It's local, it's free, right? So it's installed on your PC. There's no reliance on the internet or other people's services, and I don't have to pay a subscription to access my own notes. That alone is a huge benefit. And really, I think I've shown you here, like, there's not that much complexity to basic notes, all right? And I would say 90% of what we need, or probably even 95% of what we need when we run our sessions, is basic notes. All right, so if you just basically step back and you go, you know what, I'm comfortable with this, you don't need to go much further. All right, and I think, like, I've been on a journey, right, with my Obsidian use case where I started with like this massive toy box in front of me, and I tried everything and I made videos on everything, and I was like, oh, I need this and I need that, and I'm going to do this and I'm going to link that. I'm now heading on year 3, I think, of my use of Obsidian, and I am just so comfortable with where I am, right? I'm basically using Obsidian Leaflet for my maps, Initiative Tracker to manage my combat. I've got the stat blocks, fantasy stat blocks for my stat blocks, and I find that very easy to use. It's clean, clear, and speeds my gameplay up because things are linked. All right, I've switched over to Pathfinder 2nd Edition with my tables, so having the spells linked is just really speeding up my game. That's fantastic. There's not a lot outside of that though, right? Like, I've got a little bit of AI going on where I have some templates that allow me to create templated notes. I don't use it very often. I got a little bit of randomness happening, right, with dice rollers and things, but I don't use that very often. I roll dice at the table, all right, so I use my notes to deliver information. My players never see Leaflet, all right, if I'm honest. Like, Leaflet exists so that I can skip to parts of my note more efficiently based on which room my party go to. All right, I like that. And then I basically just read my notes, present the story, and then manage combat. Okay, and it's very, very simple and easy to do, and that's all I need. All right. Anyway, guys, I'm starting to ramble, so that really is it, right? Obsidian is not that complex. It's as complex as you make it. And if you are willing to step back and go, you know what? I've got everything I need now. I don't need to go deeper down the rabbit hole. You can really keep it easy to use, all right, and just stay at your level of comfort. If you want to go deeper, you can. All right, for that, we've got the advanced channel. All right, if you are new to Obsidian, though, please do jump into obsidianttrpgtutorials.com. All right, at least to come in here and join the TTRPG community Discord. That's where we're all hiding. All right, there's thousands of us in there talking every day. And just to speak to the channel, right, when you get here, we have the beginner chat. If you're brand new to the tool and you've got questions, this is the play to come in and get your questions answered. If you've got a specific question and you want your own space to ask a question, we've got Ask a Question. This is like a forum post. You can make your own post in here, you get your own thread, and people can respond to it, and we keep it all contained in one place. All right, Discord's a little bit hard sometimes when it was just chat, because you'd ask a question and it would sink into the depths of the chat and you'd never know what's going on. Now, the benefit of this, though, is that we've also got like these categories here. So if you want to see questions that are previously asked about ITS theme, you can click the button and see these things that have been asked. All right, which lets you see if someone else has previously had the same issue and potentially had the issue solved already. All right, we've also got down here, though, Vault Chat. Vault Chat is where you go if you just want to talk about Obsidian and how you're using it and your Vault and what you're doing. All right, advanced chat. If you are talking code, we ask you to stay in the advanced chat section. All right, because we don't want people to come in and see nothing but code. All right, because some of the coders in our community are the most active users in our community, because they're in here tinkering every day, pushing the tool further. All right, they talk the most, and their recommendations, are usually complex. So we've got an advanced chat channel for them so that they've got their own corner so they can talk about the things that they're doing. All right, but I just need to be clear, for most of you, you don't need to go in here unless you find an active use case for it. There's also Showcase. Come in here and see what people are doing that's really, really cool, things they're proud of. Jesus, someone made pie charts. All right, so come in here, you can see what's going on. But once again, only go as deep as you want to go. All right, so that's the Discord community. Highly recommend you guys jump in there if you are new to the tool and looking for help and support, like we're here. Or if you've just got questions around what you can do, we're here to help. All right. If anyone is looking to get the starter vault, all right, you can see it's linked in from the page down here. It's about $2.50, and as I said, you could be up and running with that tool very, very quickly, right? It's a simple download, and within 10 minutes your vault looks like this, and you're able to start making your notes and off you're running. So to those people who say Obsidian is too complex, I say this: you're afraid of learning something new, and Obsidian uses Markdown, which, if you're coming from Word, can feel very foreign. This idea of not having a format bar that has a bold and italics button on it, right? Like, you don't need it once you learn Markdown. It's very, very simple language to learn. You just basically, we've got the right click UI now option for formatting things as well, so it makes it very, very easy. I would say to you, just spend the time learning Markdown, and you will learn that is a much more efficient way to take notes. All right, once you've learnt that hashtag space title makes a title, and that all looks the same across your notes, you'll be like, whoa, that's actually really quick and easy. Okay, so it's worth the challenge. Now, there are people out there who literally will never give Obsidian a go just because they see it as too complex. All right, it's unfortunate, but you do have to find the right tool that works for you. I would say Obsidian's weakness is that it doesn't have sync support natively because it's a local first application. All right, for me, that's why I use the tool. I want it to be local first so that it's on my computer, it's free, I'm not paying a subscription to use it, I'm not reliant on someone else's service. If the internet goes down, my notes don't go down. That's why I use it. If you're a student jumping on public transport every day, it might not be the tool for you. All right, OneNote might be better just because you're on the train or the tram, getting access to your notes wherever you go, whenever you need them. All right, and they're synchronized across every device as you sit down. If that's what you need, then that's what you need. All right, you got to make the right choice for you. But yeah, Obsidian.md, not that complex, guys. Can be, absolutely can be, but it's up to you as the user to decide how far down the rabbit hole you go. All right, and you need to basically step back and you go, you know what? My job as a DM is to deliver information to my players. What do I need to do that easily? That's it. All right, step back, answer that question for yourself, and use the tool that makes that the outcome that you're looking for. So anyway, guys, that's just been me rambling. Hopefully that's been interesting or useful to some of you. If you do enjoy this content, please do like and subscribe, because, you know, YouTubers have to say that. But yeah, jump along to ObsidianTTRPGtutorials.com, where you can find all of my tutorials, links to the community, links to the starter vault, and jump in and join us, all right? Outside of that, guys, I look forward to catching up with you on the socials. Have a great day. Bye.